Alright, we got another update on QS or QuantumScape. It's been a while since we talked about this, but let's get into it for those of you who don't know. They're basically on a mission to transform energy storage with solid-state lithium metal battery technology. And the 5 main metrics that they go by, which they seem to be outperforming the entire market, would be energy density, cycle life, cost, fast charging, and safety. So these are the metrics they go by, and this is what makes a great battery. So first thing we're going to talk about real quick, I'm going to go a little in depth on what they do, and then we'll talk about the chart, but I'm going to make this really quick. The main thing I see over here is the 95% energy retention after 1,000 cycles, or approximately about 300,000 miles. It's able to keep 95% energy retention. So this is really good for residual value when it comes to, let's say, car selling in the future. I think I probably see with EVs is once they're out the lot, they lose a lot of value. And that's because nobody wants to deal with the headache of replacing the battery or having an issue it goes out, because it could cost multiple thousands of dollars. I know the Porsche Taycan is like a $120,000 car, but the second you drive it out the lot, you could lose maybe $30,000-$40,000 off of that. And the batteries are also expensive to replace. So that's one thing this would be solving, and it'd get rid of that fear of people wanting to buy into an EV because of battery life. So another thing that I want to talk about is going to be their B samples QSE5. This is their first planned product, and this is what's currently being tested by auto OEMs, and this is basically what's going into the car, right? One thing about the batteries is depending on where it comes out. So this came out of Raptor. So the ones that come out of Cobra is basically what's going to be coming out of the production line. So we're very close to commercialization. And for their roadmap, as you guys can see, they've hit 2023, 2024, and now we're going to 2025. So they're known to hit their goals. And right now, all we're doing is basically ramping up everything and bringing it into gigawatt production. So first thing I want to talk about, these are the last major news that happened that we need to go over. And the first one's going to be back in July. We had the PowerCo news, which they decided to go with a capital light approach, meaning that instead of forming a JV with PowerCo, they decided to lend them their technology and have them develop the batteries for them. So now that money that was originally tied up to the JV is now going to be used to extend their cash runway by 18 months. And then PowerCo is going to pay out $130 million prepayment when they, let's see, it's right here, when they meet certain technology, we're looking for technology progress, right? So once they hit a couple things, then PowerCo will release that. And this is a non-exclusive deal, meaning that they could use this as a template and use it for other OEMs or whoever they decide to work with or partner with. Right, so on top of that, QS has been working with Japan leaders. They have an office in Kyoto. So one thing we're noticing is that the CEO has been going back and forth, and he's done an interview where he talked about being close to one of the customers. So meaning that they have a customer in Japan. And if we look at the OEMs, we have Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. So we have some big players over here, and possibly even Panasonic. So this is something that could stem or transcribe within the next couple of months. We'll see some news on another partnership. So let's talk about a couple of the short-term catalysts. And one thing I want to talk about too here is I believe Honda and Nissan just decided to merge. So this is something that might be happening. So there's consolidating going on here. They're trying to tackle on Tesla and BYD. And to be honest, the only reason they're going to have a chance at beating, let's say, Tesla is not by having a lower cost car, but it's by having a better battery. It's become so tough that it's the only way to get past, not want to buy a Tesla is by having a car with a better battery, in my opinion. I think the technology in Tesla and the overall package is just well-rounded, and it's hard to beat that. So we'll see what they end up doing. And let's talk about short-term catalysts. The first one being the $130 million payment. And this is probably going to be met when B samples are validated, so they come back good, and then depending on Cobra's output. So if Cobra could do what it says it can do, and the numbers are up to scale, then that means it's basically the key that you could bring this technology into gigawatt production. So that's one thing that's important. Another catalyst could be another OEM agreement or another licensing agreement. So this could take place. And then let's see, another third one could be a possible grant from the government or the Department of Energy. That's possible. And then our launch customer finally comes out. They name themselves. And then, basically this is going to be a small program where we're going to see the first batch of QS batteries going to an actual car, and it's going to be sold. So that's something exciting to look forward to in 2025. So that being said, the current short interest on QS, I'm going to Market Watch so you guys can take a look at that. We're looking at 66.13 million shares sold short, which is about 18.54% of the float. So this is starting to get heavy over here, and we have a lot of fuel to go upward. So with these catalysts, and when I show you the chart, there's a lot of reward for what's coming up. So as you guys can see, this is the weekly chart. We've been trending in this basically downward triangle for a long time now, and we are starting to get to a pivotal point, which is basically we're about to start commercializing, bringing in revenue. So this could have an explosive movement upwards, and as you guys can see over here, we've continuously get pushed down every time there's news. So a lot of shorts or shorting has been happening recently, and as you guys can also see, the volume has been elevated since the B sample releases. So I'm expecting the next batch of news is really going to take this upwards and propel us, because not only is this due for a run, it's been beaten nonstop, but we're really at a pivotal point where this is a stock that you won't be able to ignore anymore, and it's going to have a really nice run. So keep an eye on QS. I'm going to end it over here. Let me know what you guys think, and if you made it this far, hit the like, hit the sub, and that's it.